Hey, congratulations. If you're listening to this, it means you've stumbled across the first ever amazing bonus episode of Father Figures. And it's such a special episode, we've had to rename it. It's actually called Mothers on Father Figures. I'm pretty excited today because I have managed to coax one of the most famous women in my life to pick up a microphone and talk to us, which is cool. Her name is Jodi. She's my wife. And I'm pretty excited about that because she likes to be more behind the scenes. So I'm just so stoked that she's going to give us her insight into her parenting. In the middle of that, you might hear my 12-year-old son, Ari, in there. At the end of the app, there is something very, very special. My daughter, Hope, has jumped on the mic as well. And in between, you'll get to hear from one of the ladies of the light, your friend and mine, Lucy Holmes, which is very exciting. So exciting that Heath said I could go. He was too busy. He was too busy to come. He sends his love. Of course he does. But he said, Juz, you go ahead with the app without me. So we're doing that. So anyway, my name's Justin Michael, and this is Mothers on Father Figures. Let's go. Okay, welcome back to Father Figures. My name is Justin Michael, and my surname, as you well know, is Gall. We've talked about this. I am both Justin Michael and Justin Michael Gall. I'm also Gus. I'm also Dad. I'm also Bob. I'm also a whole lot of things, and the people that know me as all of those things are actually sitting in the room right now with me. Happy Mother's Day, Jodi Gall.
Thanks, darling. Very ochre Australian of me.
You've never said that. Thanks, darling. Anyway, happy Mother's Day.
Thanks.
I know it's a little bit, you've had lots of Mother's Day. Actually, how many Mother's Days have you had?
Oh, 19 and a half.
And look, you have to sort of, what was the best Mother's Day?
I had many memorable ones.
Is it sort of similar to asking who's your favourite child? Is that in that category?
You can't say that.
Oh, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I should introduce Ari Jasper Gall is also in the house. How are you, buddy?
Good.
Now, your mum's sitting right here. Just on a scale of 1 to 1,000,000, is your mum the best mum?
Yes.
Okay, what makes her the best mum?
Her cuddles.
Her cuddles? I appreciate those ones also. Can you think of anything that you've made for mum over the years?
Probably made her a couple drawings.
Yeah.
Breakfast in bed.
When the breakfast in bed comes, because I think you are pretty good in the kitchen. What's your tip? What's your hot tip to the kids out there? What do you make mum for breakfast in bed on Mother's Day?
Eggs and bacon and toast with nice presentable plating.
Oh, it's all about the plating.
Yeah, it's all about the plating.
So tell me, how do you do the eggs?
You add a lot of garlic.
Can I just say, I'm going to take that as I've taught you well. Okay, so there's 5 siblings.
Yeah.
Who does the best job on a Mother's Day? Who actually gets out of bed?
Me.
You. Is it you, is it? Mum's just scoffing over there in the corner, just by the way. Let's name names. Who does the worst job on Mother's Day? Who doesn't get it?
Easy.
Straight up the oldest teenager.
So
he doesn't get out of bed.
No.
Yeah.
Not even on birthdays.
Not even on birthdays, even on his own. Anyway, welcome back to, you're listening to Father Figures, but this is Mothers on Father Figures as a special edition episode. So I thought I'd drag my wife in. My wife of 23 years? Is it 23, babe?
2002.
Can you give the mic to your mother now, please?
Okay,
Thank
fine.
you. Thank you.
Work out the math, Ari.
Yeah, come on. We were married in 2002, right?
Years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, I've been here the whole
Congratulations
time.
on 23. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Come on, straight up. Just for the listener's sake, it's not necessarily that I forgot how many years, is that you and I lose count all the time.
Because we're both the boy in the marriage.
That's no.
What does that mean? Sorry, can I just where's my therapist? So there was now I have told this story before, but I've got you in the room now. So do you remember the morning we woke up and your mother-in-law, my mother, rang us to say happy anniversary?
And we went, what anniversary?
So I just wanted to put that out there that I'm not It's not me.
And
it's
the
us.
cool thing about it is that we actually laugh about it, and it makes it so much better because it's actually more funnier and more fun that we don't remember together. If one of us remembered and the other one didn't, we'd be pretty cut.
Yeah, we're trying not to
It makes it far more enjoyable to laugh together.
We are trying not to get competitive about remembering. That is correct. Back to Mother's Day. Compare what it meant to you as a child to what it means to you as a mum now, I guess. Because I've always been interested in that. I kind of remember trying to treat mum and all the rest of it. But it's been interesting as a dad trying to encourage the kids to engage with Mother's Day as well. But I wonder, does it meet expectations for you? What does it feel like on Mother's Day?
There's two parts.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, obviously, I have my own mothers to honour, so my mother-in-law and my mum. And so there's a sense of it's not really just about me. It's actually about the people that have raised me in the different seasons of my life and supported me and encouraged me as a mother and a wife as well. So there's that. So it's always really nice to honour them on Mother's Day. And I mean, I love my children, so I love a day that I can, spend with them and see them do the same, model the same. And I think back to I remember Mother's Day when I was in primary school. I have a really strong memory that my mum actually remembers, and we always talk about it. It's like the memory. When I cooked her an omelette in the kitchen and broke all the eggs and brought it in, and she remembers the actual recipe that I used. It had
how many eggshells were involved in
I don't know, but I don't think it was too bad. But it was really tasty, and we kept making it after that because it was really nice.
Oh, you actually set a tone for the family likes this recipe now.
Yes.
That's cool.
And we still all remember what was in it.
Well, now you have to tell us.
Well, it's like out of one of those, my mum was into health food when I was growing up.
Was there any carob involved at any point?
Well, there wasn't carob. We had plenty of that though, but it wasn't
goodness.
that. And it was from a healthy recipe, and it was an omelette that had grated apple, Granny Smith apple, capsicum, raw capsicum, chopped into tiny little pieces, and cheese. And there was a salty thing, so it must have been ham, I think. So it was sweet, tart, salty and creamy, and I sort of fitted the brief. It was actually very nice. You wouldn't expect it, and it was tasty.
I think the green apple thing, I remember early on being married to you, and you had this way of putting fruit into like salads and things.
Yeah.
So like the classic Waldorf salad that had apple in it and stuff, but you did it in different things. And I remember you putting grated apple in things, and I'd never seen it in my life. And you were like, I remember you explaining it to me just on a basic cooking level that it's just sweetness. It's sweetness and tartness, and it adds to the recipe.
Well, you're thinking of a balance of those sort of ingredients. It doesn't matter what they're from. It just the balance of salty, sweet, creamy, savoury, sour.
And you know what, kids? Much like a good relationship.
Without garlic.
Yeah. So you remember, how old are you when you present that omelette to mum?
It might have been grade 4, grade 5.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What a cool memory.
Yeah.
Because you're a bit older than that now.
She remembers it too, and like she's in her 70s, early 70s, and she still remembers it. Yeah. So
you've been given all sorts of handmade things. All of our kids like to draw and write and make things.
Yeah.
I think one Mother's Day we made you a song, didn't we? I think we filmed it in the van. We got all the kids to sing, and we put a beat to it. But for you though, are there a few standout moments? I mean, you went 19 years ago.
Well, shout out to the son that apparently forgets Mother's Day and is the one that doesn't wake up for Mother's Day, because I actually remember my very first Mother's Day stall gift as like a real highlight for me in my life. And because he was the son that made me a mum. So that's pretty special. And he brought home a little vase from his first Mother's Day stall that had like a fairy on the side of it. And I still have that on my shelf, and I really love that. That's very special to me.
I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah. I know that most people think that I have lots of random trinkets around, but they've all attached to special memories, and that's a really special one. But I have a cupboard in my house that I inherited from my nanny, and she saved a lot of money and waited a long time to get this special cabinet from, I think it was early settlers or something like that. I can't remember. And she was like, we weren't allowed to go anywhere near it, scratch it, all the things. And then I inherited when she passed away, sadly. And I have used that to store memories, not just because it is special to me because of whose it was, but also it's jam-packed to the max with drawings, photo albums, any memorabilia of my children. And I don't think I can fit another thing in it. They will have to burn it one day at a bonfire. No one will want to look at it. They'll be like, oh, why did you save this, Mum? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, there could even be teeth in there. I don't even know.
Teeth and the first lock of hair, that sort of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think the only adjustment we've made to that particular armoire was adding child locks.
There was probably at some stage.
We'd come upstairs and one of the kids, because there was so much stuff
really
in
is.
it.
They're still on there.
So much stuff in it that if you pulled one thing,
that'll fall out.
1,000 things fall out. But again, what a beautiful story. Something that it's
kind of like our memories, isn't it? It's really, you pull one out and then all the other cool stories come out of, you have one special memory and they're attached to another special memory. So the door opens, they all fall out kind of thing.
But I think what I'm picking up on is you're one of the lucky ones. You've got beautiful memories of grandma, beautiful memories of nanny and nana, beautiful memories of mum, and you're enjoying your motherhood so far.
Yeah.
That's not everyone's experience.
There's certainly lots and lots of challenge in raising children.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't mean that you don't enjoy it.
Now,
There's
these
a
are the
lot
little
of challenge.
snapshots, though, aren't they?
Yeah,
These are the
absolutely.
So, but for you've ministered to a lot of women over the years that hasn't been their experience. How would you encourage women in this season on a day when, in this season when they're reminded all the time, maybe they don't feel like they're a good mum, maybe they don't feel like they had a good mum. Is there a way that you encourage?
Absolutely. I was just talking to someone today about this. There's never a time, like, I'm a teacher, so I love learning, but there's never a time where it's stop learning. And when I became a parent 19 years ago, we were very different people and there were very different parenting methods around 19 years ago. And I did courses and read books and all those things. And many of those over time, and science has caught up. And many of those methods that we learnt even back in, our Christian church times, in our, church circles, we did lots of courses, but science and our understanding of the brain hadn't caught up to where it is now. And we know that there's new ways we can engage and support our children and be better parents and be better husbands, wives. And so I'm really enjoying the challenge of that there's a new season of learning about how to be a better mum. And not a better mum as in like about me. How can I be more thoughtful to the way my children think, and how can I help shape their life in a more healthier way? And there's just as many people there are in the world, there are probably as many ways to do that. And everyone is so unique that you really can do that in many, many different ways. So there's a lot of learning out there, and I'm actually really looking forward. I've raised my 19-year-old one particular way, but in this season I have a 12-year-old and 2 8-year-olds that I may raise differently because I know more about the way they think, or I'm going to learn that. And Justin and I may become different parents to who we were 19 years ago, for sure, through even the journey that we'll probably take in learning about how to raise children even now, and that's 19 years down the track. So, I'm kind of excited about reinventing being a mum and doing it again.
So the encouragement in so many ways is, I guess, if you feel like you've done a terrible job, if you feel like you haven't had a good role model.
Tomorrow's always a new day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. There's a new start. And there's plenty, and again, in ministry world, I've been a pastor for a long time and worked with many families that are, obviously there's kind of the family units that are actually cut off from one another. There's people trying to build bridges. There's all sorts of versions of it. As you say, if you and I say all the time, if you've met one child, you've met one child. If you've met one parent, you've met one parent. So, all advice is general, and please see your please see your expert to get your advice. But I firmly believe that each day the sun rises, you get a new chance.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many days I've felt like I've made a mistake in the way I've approached raising my children. Like there's been so many moments where I've just gone, what was that, Jodi? And I have actually got through it by saying, I'll start again tomorrow. I'll start again tomorrow. I'll do tomorrow again. I'll do today again tomorrow, but I'll try it a different way tomorrow. Well, that has really helped.
You love to draw and paint. You love to read. What are some of the ways you center yourself to, catch your breath again on those days where because a lot of parenting is you just got to keep going.
And there's no real place to retreat and come back to a lot of the time. Even just lately, I've just been leaving a Bible on the bench. It's just got Psalms in it. And a really dear friend of mine gave it to me a few years ago, and she probably doesn't know that I actually use it. And I didn't initially, but I've left it there because it's a really pretty Bible. It has a really pretty front cover on it. And it's got these journal pages in it where it's just a blank page beside it. And I often just walk past it when I am really struggling with something, and I just read what's next on the page. And I might highlight it, I might draw it 5 times, I might circle it, and then I pray about it. And often it keeps me really focused. I know God really draws my eyes to like a little bit of a solution, whatever stands out for me. And that's been something just in the last couple of weeks. It's really helped me get through the day. Sometimes I write like a key word on my hand and take it to school with me, or that. Just having that in a prominent place where I can literally just walk past it, flick a page open, just have a read as I'm standing in the kitchen processing anything that's happened in our house has been a bit of a winner. Going for a walk is very good for us, for everybody. It's good for relaxing, processing, getting oxygen to the brain. It is a very good thing to do for your body to move through something. Everyone should do it. Take a walk.
Yeah, well, that's part of the reason you got the dog, right?
Yep. I've got the dog for that reason.
You didn't get the dog for me. I'm allergic to the dog.
Yeah.
This is what love is.
No, it was for our whole family.
Yeah. I love the dog. The dog just, anyway.
Yeah. Any way that you can calm the farm. I've been talking about anxiety with my children, and amygdala. Amygdala is the part of the brain that creates anxiety.
Amygdala?
That one. Yeah. Well, we call it amygdala.
Amygdala. Okay. Amygdala's got a new name.
That's actually her name. No, she's a she.
Amygdala is an expert on the brain. She's an amygdala. Yeah,
she's the shape of an almond.
We're going well so far.
Yeah, no.
You've got a master's in art therapy, not in biology. That's okay.
No, we've just been reading a picture storybook, but she definitely, we can tell her to calm her farm. And the other thing we can do is give her some oxygen and slow her down a little so that she responds a little slower, because she's actually there for a really good reason. She's fight or flight. She's there to protect you when something's in making you feel threatened. It could be you feel threatened because you're out of your depths with your parenting or whatever. Like, there to help. You've got this amygdala in your brain that's there to help. She's like a superhero, but she needs to calm her farm sometimes. And you can give her some oxygen to help her think, or you can tell her to calm her farm.
I love that, and I love the scientific input. But again, it's one of the things you've done with the kids often. When we don't know, you'll pull a book off the shelf and we'll look at the book together and you'll help them understand. Over the years, babe, we've worked closely together, and we've worked with lots of families, and we've worked in lots of situations where we've tried to just be the support for different families, and we come across different shaped families all the time. And I find that talking about motherhood can actually be really triggering for a lot of girls as well. Is there something that you would share, that you would give some wisdom to around perhaps those who either have never been able to have their own children, or...
It is a sensitive topic. If it's someone's heart desire and it's that sense of something that's been longed for, when a heart has been broken or an expectation has not been met, it's... there's not advice for it, We don't know why God chooses what he chooses, but it's perfect. Whatever his plan is, it is perfect. And we don't know what his plan is. And I think that's the hardest part on this side of heaven, is not knowing but trusting that he adores us and that he's actually after our very best in everything we do. I think that's the hardest one to curb, is to always remain trusting that his best is best, and that for whatever reason on this side of heaven, he's chosen this particular path. But in saying that, before I had children, before I was married, I had a desire placed in my heart that was the love of children. I don't know where it came from, because I didn't really get raised with young children, so I don't really know where it came from. But I went on a mission trip when I was 19 years old. It might have been sparked a little earlier than that. My mum went on a mission trip and it might have been sparked from there. I was very impacted by some of the wars that happened on the TV when I was in year 12 and the suffering of the people. So it could have been something to do with that. I can't remember, but there was a real strong tug on my heart to love the children that God had put in the world that didn't seem to have parents that would be able to support them in that season of their season of life. And I totally fell in love with the children that struggled in different parts of the world, particularly when I went to the Philippines. Was the first trip that I made as a 19-year-old, and spent a lot of time with the children just in the street, just playing with them, and that had completely different lives. We sometimes think that, like in our imaginary world, we think that when people have different living conditions to us that they're sad, but they were probably the happiest children I've ever met, to be honest. Yeah. And they were free and playful and full of love for each other and well supported by the network that was around them. If their parents weren't there for them, there was a network around them that loved them and looked after them, and there were aunties and uncles and very close proximity of living. So there were always people caring for them. And I just fell in love with the children, particularly that didn't have the same family structures that I was accustomed to. And then when I went back to Indonesia on a second mission trip, we went to an orphanage, and I think that just changed my heart forever. I think when you have children that have no parents, that have been born into this world with no prospect of parents, and there's many of them living in the same facility with, you know,
not a lot of resources.
Older children, that they see as parents. Maybe one administrational, loving missionary adult that has to look after, 60 children. When they literally, you walk in the building and they are just grabbing at your legs and desiring your attention with their beautiful little faces and eyes. I don't think I'll ever forget that moment in my life. And when I met Justin, I said, I'm not sure if I can date you, because God's really put in my heart that I have to go back and be a missionary in an orphanage. And I will never forget that tug on my heart, to be honest. It's always been there of, do I do this? And that was a crossroad. But when tagging it back into our purpose in this world, living a purpose-driven life as a Christian person, if you can put the fact that we are a purpose-driven people as Christians in your lens, regardless of who we are and what circumstance we've been given, there is a purpose to always to the children. Jesus loved the children, and he didn't desire for children to be parentless. And there are so many people, so many children that you can make the most meaningful impact in their life.
Just being a safe grown-up with children is such a powerful thing. I
love being a teacher, adore. Yeah. I tell those children that I'm their second mum if they want. If they need a second mum, they can have me. And I love my job for that reason. I'm their second mum. Like, no, I'm not saying that. No, in no way do I take over from their mum.
No, you mean as a
at
as a
school,
model. As
if
a
they
model
need they need a safe person, I'm a safe person. I'm hoping I am. I'm probably, I've got I've made lots of mistakes, but we exist more than the structures that we've been given, and there's so many places in this world that you can fulfill those desires of your heart. And I don't just fulfill the desires of my heart that were instilled way back when I was a 19-year-old with my children and my family. God uses that desire in my heart for many, many other places where his beautiful little children are. And if that desire's in your heart, go seek it out, because it will be fulfilled in many places. I am very fulfilled in being a teacher of children, being able to be around other people's children and to support them on their journeys. And sometimes even as a parent, I'm not as always successful with my own children as I am with other, in other circumstances. So the desires of my heart are often met in other places within the structure of teaching. Sometimes we think, if I had my own children or if I had my own family, but that might not be where the desire of your heart will be met necessarily. And I really encourage you, He's going to meet the desires of your heart. Absolutely.
I think that the whole call of Scripture, of course, is to mold our hearts to be more like Jesus, and I think there's nothing more special, is there, than
if we meet with Jesus, and our desires his desire for us will meet our desire, and with those two joining, you'll know that it's right, and he puts those desires in our heart. If it's his desire, he will meet it,
The thing that always strikes me in the Scriptures is that when, Jesus crossed over the other side, people followed him, and he looked and he saw the crowd and his heart was moved with compassion. I think that's always stuck with me. My senior pastor back in Geelong when I was younger, Rick, would always preach that Scripture, and it really impacted. I think I actually wrote a song for our church off that Scripture. But, being moved with compassion when you see the needs of the people, and knowing that your heart will be fulfilled. So again, coming back to that thought of, this is not a conversation necessarily about biological children of our own. This is just yours and my heart for children. And I like being married to you. Thanks for that.
I was going to say not even children.
Okay. I was gonna.
I think being, pastors at different times of our lives, when we see people that are moving through different stages of themselves developmentally, again, it may be that the desire, God's desire for us is to help someone on a journey from one place to another, raising them up to be a disciple of Jesus. So again, raising up is more the idea than just raising children, but God wants us to raise up disciples for his glory.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the desire, is raising rather than raising children, because sometimes raising children is not particularly desirable either. It's very hard.
Yeah.
But in general, our desires are met when they meet, the objectives of God. I'm a teacher, objectives. But truly.
You've got your rubrics that you're working to. I get it.
But, he wants us to raise up disciples, and that's the thing that really what is raising someone.
How do you, again, I think is the basic, how do you love the Lord your God above all else and love your neighbour as yourself? And this is how you and I try to do it, is by obviously creating a safe and loving environment for our children, but also creating safe and loving environments everywhere we go, to that would nurture is the word that comes to mind. That would nurture souls. And I think that's why we open up our home a lot to other people's children as well. We often end up with lots of extra kids, and it's good fun. But babe, seriously, thank you so much for coming and chatting to me on Mothers on Father Figures. And I'll go cook you some eggs with extra garlic.
No, you can You can leave the garlic out.
Okay. Salt and pepper it is, and some relish on the side.
Thank you.
Love you, babe. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
You were in the studio with Justin Michael and an old friend of mine, actually. She used to be known for singing in a group with me, but now she's known for a lot more. Lucy Holmes, how are you?
I don't know if I was ever known for singing in the Melbourne Gospel Choir.
That's
my 25-year career on stage and screen and radio, but we did work together.
But those few moments where you sang, I've got the, what was that Joy song we sang? We sang a song about joy. Joyful, joyful.
Yes, yeah. Now, is it okay if I'm on your podcast? Because it is Father Figures and I am a mother figure.
This is Mothers on Father
Good.
Figures.
Great. Phew.
Special edition.
Excellent.
Special edition bonus episode.
And the good thing is if someone's subscribed to your podcast, I know this because I have one called the Lucy and Kel podcast.
Yes, just give that a little shout out for you, just in case.
100th episode next week. But
hooray.
I'll say this. The great news is just say they've been subscribed to your podcast. Season's finished. If you drop in a new episode, it just comes up in their playlist.
I know, it's
and
like
then
a
it
rule.
auto plays and people are like, what's this? And you're like, it's a new app.
It's a surprise. Surprises with Lucy. It's. I thought it'd be lovely to talk about the mums in our lives because it's either it is about to be Mother's Day or it's been Mother's Day or you know it's always good to highlight our mums and last year, the year before, I wrote a song for my mum called "Lead Me to Love," and it was that question I was asking of like how do you kind of say the simple depth of the mother or the mother figure in your life. And one of the things that I understood was in all of the efforts of my mum and dad, but certainly mum, the idea, I think, for the way she tried to parent us was to lead us to things that helped us to love our neighbour, love all of the things that we love. And I think about that of the food that we love or the diversity of people that are in our lives or the places we've travelled, all the things that she led us to just by being herself. And so, one of that sort of turned into a melody and it's a fun little song. And I sing it with my daughter sometimes. Oh. She's of course, going to be a pop star.
Great.
So
or a YouTuber.
Or a YouTuber. Oh my goodness. My two older boys are pretty sure they're going to be YouTube influencers.
All kids are sure they're going to be YouTubers or TikTokers.
And I don't know about you, but I'm just confused as to which media I should. I'm still trying to figure out which. Can I just use one? And it's like, no, you have to use 20
I know, right?
of them. And I don't want to.
And when you're a podcaster or a performer or anything, you now have to be a content creator on all those socials to get anyone to look at your product. And that's in and of itself exhausting. Yeah.
So what you do is you take creatives who naturally have to be in the spotlight to do what they do, but most of them don't want to talk about the spotlight.
That's right.
The grand irony of the creative. But you're doing a good job. Anyway, hooray for you. Nearly 100 episodes or 100 episodes by the time people hear this on the Lucy and Cal podcast. You have done a lot of different types of parenting through your journey. And right now you're co-parenting with Cal.
Yeah.
And I guess how many years into that are you?
We are 2.5 years into our blended family of me and my daughter and Kel and his 4 kids. So 7 now.
Yeah.
So from me and Shy, my daughter, in our little life, I was a single mum for a few years. And to go from that to 7 people was a lot.
Yeah, I say we run an industry at my house. We run an industry.
It's never-ending washing and cooking.
Yeah. I bought the biggest LG washer-dryer combo you can get. I don't even know. It's like 14, 15 kilos.
That's a lot.
But literally, I can do, so if you want to strip the double bed and whatever, I can do all of that in one go.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, the Lord knows, right?
That's right.
It's
that's
all
so
good.
funny. That's so relatable. When we got married, we went and bought a massive washer and dryer because everything changed.
Yeah. And I used to be the guy that was like, no, don't use the dryer. It's Lizzie outside. Let's use the natural resources of the wind. And now I'm like, no, just it goes from the dryer to the pile in the lounge room. That's what happens there.
Yeah. Oh, so it was a big shock, a big culture shock. Everybody in the blend loved it and was fine. The only person who struggled a bit was me, going from a very quiet, solitary life to a very big, loud, chaotic, uncontrollable life. For me, a chronic kind of loves everything to be just so.
Yes.
It was a lot for me to digest.
People might not understand that about you too, that again, very classic for a performer to want an equal and opposite version of themselves, the quiet in the corner. Are you a reader with a book with a glass of wine kind of person?
Totally.
Yeah.
Little glass of wine, my little iPad. My job is to be super extroverted on the radio every single day. I've done it for 17 years. I'm on stage. I'm in stage shows, but then I recharge by myself. And so and I love my house being just so. I love it looking like a magazine. When I walk in, I want my house to look like it's from Better Homes and Gardens. And I could control that with one daughter.
Yeah.
But suddenly 7 people, I couldn't.
I think you need a prayer circle or
I
a
do.
hug circle or something, because that's. I didn't know that about myself before I got married, because we were in a share house with two other blokes and whatever, it just existed, and it was weird that when I got married, suddenly I realised you had your own space, and I think I could be a Maria Kondo kind of kid if I wanted to be.
So good, I love it.
But also I'm in therapy for that. So, but
so I have been a single mum and now a blended family stepmom.
Do you like the hat? I mean, are you enjoying the hat?
I have seen my daughter thrive with a big family. The best part about marrying Kel is that he's got great kids, and his youngest are just around 7 or 8 months older than my daughter. He's got twins, a twin boy and a twin girl. And Shiloh and his daughter became the best of friends, and now they begged us to date, which was very sweet. They say that they're the reason we got together. And they are now sisters. They've been sisters for 2.5 years, and they're the best of friends. They are as thick as thieves, and seeing Shiloh thrive in that environment has been amazing.
What's the age gap there?
8 months, if that.
Oh, right.
But
So they're really close together.
Shy's a head taller, and they're just the same. They're the same little personality type, and they've never fallen out in 2.5 years. They've never fallen out, which is great.
Let's keep that streak going.
Yeah, it's really good.
You've done Mother's Days in a lot of different spaces.
Yeah.
Sweetest memory of a Mother's Day?
You know what? You'll probably go, how's that a nice memory? But my first Mother's Day being a single mum after I was divorced was I was mentally in a really, really dark place. I was living in a granny flat on my best friend's property. And life just seemed really dark, but I had this beautiful little ray of sunshine who was around 4 years old at the time. And my best friend, Megan, is one of the greatest humans of all time. Not only was I living on her property, but she said to me, can I take Shiloh out on a shopping spree for you for Mother's Day? And I was like, well, okay. So she took my daughter out. They had the most magical afternoon. She plied her full of donuts and treats, then said to this 4-year-old, buy whatever you want for your mummy. And this 4-year-old chose the most random things. One of the things was a giant metal garden statue that's a pig. No, ugliest thing I ever did see. But now it's the most special thing to me. I still have it all these years later.
It doesn't fit in your design.
No, my house looks like Better Homes and Gardens.
I was going to say, it's not in the lookbook. This is not.
I've got a Scandi house. I've got cream couches. It's all rattan, and I've got this metal pink pig in my garden. But
and
I
a metal
love
pink
it.
pig. There's a song in that.
Metal pink pig. It's called Nella, the princess pig. But my 4-year-old did that, and on Mother's Day, where I didn't have a husband who'd organised it all, I was living in a granny flat. I remember my little 4-year-old bounding into my bedroom with this big metal pig and a bag of other random things she's chosen from Kmart. And she was like, Happy Mother's Day, Mum. And that was because my best friend Megan, who is a mum of 3, understood that as a single mum, if I didn't have that, I would have just had this 4-year-old not even understanding the day. Since then, every single year, Megan takes out my daughter. They have an afternoon.
You've now got 10 metal pink pigs.
And every year she's done that. And then I obviously remarried, and Megan said, is it okay if I continue this tradition? And I was like, of course. And so the other day she picked up Shiloh, who's now turning 11. They'd went off. They had boba and sushi and donuts.
Yeah, sure. Those two. Yep. Okay, get that. Yep.
And then she lets Shy, and Shy goes and chooses anything she wants for me. And then she came home and she was giggling, and she goes into a bedroom and she wraps it all. And it's the most beautiful thing that has now become this amazing tradition. And it was all because of my amazing friend who understood the importance of coming around single mums during Mother's Day, because it can be a really tricky emotional day. Like I know Mother's Day can be emotional for so many reasons. Mums who are no longer with us, estranged mums, women who want to be mums and haven't been able to be mums. There's so much emotion around it. But single mums is one of those things when there's no one on the scene to organise the stuff. What happens? And I learned such a great thing from my friend that day.
I think the beauty of just the simple camaraderie of that, because that would be something that could be done any day of the week, but it was done very specifically, and not only did it warm your heart and obviously speak some beauty into your life, but it taught your daughter what it actually means. So she's probably carrying more of a meaning of it.
Totally.
My wife has grown up with 4 sons. We have 4 sons and 1 daughter, and the difference is marked. So
I can imagine.
we have a lot of random trinkets that get home. But just recently, it was the Mother's Day stall,
Yes.
the Mother's Day
Yep,
stall at
classic.
school. And I'm never quite sure, like, do I give them $2 so they only buy the one silly thing?
Yeah, you've got so many kids, you need to take out a bank loan.
I already have.
Yeah.
I have explained to the children that we've been running at a deficit for 20 years now. So hopefully the podcast will pay off.
Pick
now.
up.
So guys, please, anyone wants to sponsor the podcast? So you hand, and I went, the maximum they're allowed to spend at their school is $10. So, and I just went with the maximum because it's only $10 for heaven's sake. But also then they have that freedom and they come home with just the funnest things.
Yeah.
And then over the year they sort of fall apart and you
Yeah.
shuffle them away.
Yeah.
But Jodi actually was telling a story of a couple of those trinkets that have meant so much to her
Oh, it's lovely.
over the years, of those fun little things. Did you have a grandmother and a mum that, like, how was your relationship up the female generations?
So my family are from the UK and we immigrated when I was very little to Australia, but all my grandparents passed away before I was born,
Right.
bar one, and he died when I was quite young. And so I actually have no experience of grandparents or grandmothers at all. But my mum was my best friend, is my best friend. Growing up, we had the best relationship. I loved her to bits. I still do. And she still is my best friend to this day. And so I, even the other day I was popping something in the mail for her because she lives in Brizzy. And I got a message from her going, "Don't buy me anything for Mother's Day. I don't need anything." And I was like, "Oh, too late. Something's on its way." But that's classic her. But she always made, like, my mum made everything magical for me growing up. Everything was always magical.
Is she the artsy creative one?
She's
as well?
artsy.
That's
She's
where
very
you get it?
creative. Yep. She's very artsy and creative. And so everything was just magical. And at the time I didn't understand. Now looking back, I'm like, she did make everything magical. Like, everything was always fun and we were always going out somewhere, we're always spending time together. But I miss her every day that I'm not with her. I try and touch base with her every day or every other day.
She's now probably at the age where you start to have the conversation, "Mum, are you moving closer to me, or are we?"
Oh, no, well, they did move to Melbourne for a few years and then they hated the weather and they left.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll ever move from Queensland.
But if you have a nice granny flat out the back from Better Homes and Gardens,
oh my gosh, maybe, potentially.
that could be the thing.
Who
But then does that
knows?
ruin the friendship because they're just next door?
No, if they were
do you
here
want
for
to
a
do the
few
Everybody
years,
Loves Raymond? Is
100%.
the question.
I live with my mum and dad.
All right,
I love them.
You're the weird one.
Yeah, I love them. Mum and dad they're such good value. They were here for a while and I lived in their pockets. I absolutely love them.
And isn't it great? I love it. I'm like, mid-40s. Let's just say I'm almost 50, and I still feel like Mum still gets the $20 out of her
Totally.
wallet.
Yeah, my dad does that.
Isn't that funny? And it's still a nice thing.
Yeah,
It's like-
I'm 45 and every time I visit mum and dad in Queensland, as I'm leaving, Dad will shove a little $20 note in my hand. He'll go, "Get something nice at the airport." And I'll go, "Dad, I've got a mortgage. I own a car. I've got a good job." And I'll be like, "But I'll still take your $20.
because the $20 is getting you one coffee at the airport.
That's right. Exactly.
That's right. Some of the lessons that you've learned over these seasons, and again, acknowledging you've done like some pretty big hills and pretty big valleys, and some people might, from a distance, look at your world and go, "Man, your world's exciting. It's pretty full on. It's pretty exciting." But do you take the kids on those journeys? Like, are you starting to take the kids on those journeys as well?
Yeah, everything has to be age appropriate. I've had a whole bunch of health issues lately around my jaw, which is not great when you're a singer and a performer. And I took my kids on a bit of the journey. I didn't go into great detail. I just told them what I thought I could tell, what they could cope with. And then unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but the newspaper here in Melbourne ran a story about me and my daughter saw it, and I hadn't gone into detail with my daughter, and so I had to deal with my daughter reading something about me, and then taking her on that journey as well. But I try to with the kids. We've got a really open life. We've got a really open family. We speak about everything. Our family is the safest place to feel whatever you need to feel. If you need to have a bad day, if you just need to squirrel yourself away and be grumpy, it is okay. It's okay to be angry sometimes. It's okay to be sad sometimes. We have a lot of grace and space in our family for that. And I think my mum and dad let me experience all that, especially with my mum. I was allowed, and I think that's why I had such a great relationship with her, because she wasn't like, you've got to feel this or feel that. I could just kind of be, and mum would carry me in whatever that looked like. And still does. Like, even if I ring her and having a bad week, she'll be like, "I'm so sorry." She won't try and fix it.
Yeah.
And then she'll celebrate my wins as well.
So, it's such a simple lesson, and it's spoken over and over in lots of ways. creating a network, and again, for people that don't have that great relationship with a parent or don't have a great grandparent, trying to find that space. And I think sometimes the radio space can actually be a leveling place for people to listen to your stories as well, because it's helpful to hear that, hey, there's somebody else maybe like you or whatever.
That's what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. So when you're talking to specifically one-on-one women that are talking to you and they're saying, I feel lonely, I feel ill-equipped, I feel like I'm failing at everything.
Yeah.
Do you have a sense of what to say next?
Yeah. I never run out of words. It's okay to feel those things. Trying to push them down and going, I'm not experiencing them is not the truth. We all have times as women, especially mums, where we feel like we're failing. We feel like we're failing ourselves. We feel like we're failing our family. We feel like we're failing our kids. But the key is not to stay stuck in that moment, right? You don't stay stuck in that moment. I like to visualize everything as a tunnel. And it's okay if sometimes in the tunnel you just stop and you go, this sucks. But don't sit down in the tunnel and stay there. Keep walking towards the light at the end of the tunnel. Get help. Go see a psychologist. Talk to your friends. There's so many things you can do. Remind yourself who you truly are. You know, I know this is so dumb, but I quite liked the idea when I heard Mel Robbins, who's obviously, I think, the most popular podcaster on the planet, was talking to people that were struggling with loving themselves. She's like, every morning, wake up, look in the mirror, smile at yourself and high five yourself in the mirror.
Right.
High five and go, hey, you're doing so good. And the more you do that, actually visually and what happens neurologically to your brain can be life-changing. We have the choice in our life how we frame it. We have the choice to sit in places and be a victim or a victor. Being a victor doesn't mean you're going, none of that bad stuff happened. It did. And it's unfortunate, but how you let it define you is completely up to you. It's all on you. And so if you're having trouble and you're stuck, get the help you need. Speak to people, speak to trusted people, because we weren't meant to do life alone, especially as women. And we are so tough on ourselves as mothers. You just got to share your journey with people, because the power of the testimony and sharing is what breaks down all those walls, which is why I share everything on our radio show. I don't care. People go to me, gosh, you tell everything. I was like, that's right. I'm an open book. I've got nothing to hide. It helps me be honest, and I know it helps others to be honest.
And I must say too, look, it's a special skill that you have, because there's not a lot of people that are okay with sharing at that depth, and I'm one of them. I don't particularly love it, but I always say to people, if they want to know what's in my head and my heart, you can listen to my songs or listen to my sermons, because it's all there somewhere.
Totally.
Because I can't help, but you can only preach from the book you've read. And you've read your own book more than anybody, obviously. But for you, again, that is quite a special skill, and it's courageous or crazy or both.
Yeah, bit of both. Sometimes I bitterly regret it, but most of the times I love it, and I don't care anymore. I used to care. Now I really don't care. If I share too much and it makes someone think a certain way about me, I don't care, because it doesn't affect me. The only thing that matters is how I think about myself.
But again, that's a skill that you've developed. And
totally.
I think that's
over 17 years.
It's not something that, it's not a switch that you flick. It's a skill you've developed
I grew
with discipline and with grace towards yourself and towards others as well. Because again, we have to coexist with the people that used to be part of our story.
That's right.
We have to coexist with people that have caused us pain.
Yeah.
And for me, I've had to admit that I've caused other people pain as well. I think that was the hardest thing for me, is that, coming through some of those conversations, it's certainly around parenting and other things, of going, the mistakes that I made, it wasn't everybody else's fault.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I've talked to my kids about is, do I apologize enough to you? I actually asked one of them the other day, do I need to, because there was a bit of a mood thing going on, and I said, have I done something?
Yes.
Have I, and so again, it's just a bit of a life skill of going, kids, their reality is so linear, I guess. It's not
honest.
Complex yet.
Yeah.
And they don't have
and
a filter.
Yeah.
And so the hardest thing is to remember you have 1,000 filters as an adult.
Yeah.
And we're always minding our P's and Q's. But, again, there's lots we could say on that.
Yes.
I guess, look, mate, I just wanted to say thanks for coming on the pod and chatting mothering. I feel like there's 1,000 things. Is there something I've missed that you want to say?
No, I would say this. I mean, and I know most of the people probably listening to your pod are probably dads. I would say this about Mother's Day. Sometimes your wife or other half might be like, oh, don't worry about it, don't need anything. But let me tell you, the cry.
In the words of Admiral Akbar, it's a trap.
It's a trap. My husband yells that all the time.
It's a trap.
Even the other day, he goes, what do you want? And I was honest. And I said, I don't want anything. And he yelled, it's a trap. He's a big Star Wars fan. But I would say this.
He's a wise man.
Okay. We may say that. We may genuinely mean it. But the cry of her heart is she wants to be seen and loved and appreciated. And yes, you can do that on any day of the year. But on a day that's called Mother's Day, if you can just do something to show her how much you love her, if you need to be the one to drive the children to the shops, to Kmart, to say to them, here's $20, go to town. And if that's what you can do, please do it. Write her, if anything, get a piece of paper, write her one page and go, I probably don't say this enough. This is what all the things I love about you. Gee whiz, I'm a lucky man. I'm punching above my weight. I tell you what, you say that to your wife on Mother's Day, my goodness, you're going to make her feel like $1 million. She doesn't need diamonds or rings or rubies. She just wants to be seen and loved and heard and appreciated. And even if she says, don't do anything, do a little something. Doesn't need to be the diamond necklace. But if you write her a letter, if you get the kids, sit down with the kids and go, and they might be like, I don't want to do it. Go, guys, your mum does so much for us. I want you to write a few sentences about why you love her. You give her that, you'll make such a difference. So I just want to encourage the men. It's not hard. You do have to be intentional. And if you did that, your wife will flourish and thus your relationship will flourish.
And can I just word to the wise, Kmart is open till midnight in a lot of places 100%. And sometimes overnight. If it's 2:00 in the morning, go.
100%.
Go. Get something from Lucy's lookbook that fits into a Better Homes and Gardens. Just another throw cushion. Another throw cushion that says...
Candles.
Candles.
Candles are a great thing.
All about the candles.
Candles. That's all you need. She's good.
As Kate Sobrano once said, I want the cake and I also want the candle. Lucy Holmes, thank you so much for jumping in on Mothers on Father Figures.
Love what you're doing with dads. Keep at it. Dads need community just as much as women. We know, I just got to say quickly, statistically, we know that there is a huge void when it comes to men talking about relationships, feelings. We know that we have men's suicide is on the rise. We know men's mental health issues. So it's so great to have a podcast where men can just talk about anything in the fun blokey bloke man way, and it's really important. Yes. So keep at it, because this is how we change those statistics. So good job to you and Heath, who I love and I miss.
Yeah, Heathy baby. Sorry you weren't on this app. Luce, thanks so much, mate. God bless. Hey, we're here to say thank you to all the mummies, aren't we? I've got Hope with me, my best daughter ever.
I'm your only daughter.
Yeah, the best one. How old are you now? It's not a trick question.
8.
You're 8. Yeah, I've had you for like 8 years. So I've been a girl dad for 8 years. Am I doing okay? Mum's doing better, isn't she? Hey, tell me like 2 things that are cool about your mummy.
She's kind and she's better than you.
Okay. Well, we thought to end this beautiful podcast, well, we've spoken to Mummy and we've spoken to our friend Lucy, and Ari actually got in on this too. I thought it might be nice. Do you remember the song that I wrote for the mummies?
Yeah.
Because it starts with this line. You asked me what Jesus would do. I said most likely he'd agree with you. You watched while I played in the sand, waiting till I'd understand. And you found a way, you know, to see beyond the throes of growing through the groves. And with Jesus, lead me to love. Lead me to love. Till I'd understand, to love the stranger as a friend, to walk with Jesus till the end. That'll lead me to love. Oh, lead me to love. Lead me to love. Lead me to love. Remember this last bit? You show me what Jesus would do. Thanks to all the mummies out there. We love you all. Do you want to say bye to everyone?
Bye.
Thank you for being part of Mothers on Father Figures for this bonus episode. Now you have to say like, bonus episode done.
Bonus episode done.
Yeah, all right. Bonus episode done. Like, can I have a kiss? Please, can I have a kiss?
No.
Fine, I'll write you a song too then.